most epic NHL moments. Hockey has always been more than just a game. It's speed, grit, and heart all coming together in front of tens of thousands of passionate live fans. It's where heroes are made, tempers flare, and occasionally, even goalies throw hands. From the night Paul Kariya came back from a vicious headshot to score a goal that shocked the world, to the game where fierce rivals dropped the mitts and started an all-out brawl, to the goal that fired up an entire city. These are some epic NHL moments caught on tape. If you think you know the whole story, just wait until we get to the player who scored 5 goals in 5 completely different ways. Buckle up, hockey fans. This one should be a doozy. Let's begin with one of the gutsiest moments ever seen in the Stanley Cup Finals. Paul Kariya's comeback in 2003. It was June 6, 2003. Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The Anaheim Mighty Ducks were hanging on against the New Jersey Devils. The barn was buzzing. Then it happened. Paul Kariya moved the puck through the neutral zone, looked up for half a second, and boom. Scott Stevens came flying in and absolutely lit him up with a blindside hit to the head. Kariya went down hard and lay motionless on the ice. It was dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Trainers rushed out, and when they helped him up, he looked like he was seeing stars.
Never saw that coming because Stevens came from his right and he was looking.
Everyone figured he was done. But a few minutes later, the barn went crazy. Kariya was back. And then, late in the period, he wound up and ripped the rocket from the left circle, top shelf, past Martin Brodeur. After being knocked unconscious, he still managed to come back and score one of the most epic and iconic moments in NHL history. That's grit. That's hockey, baby! Next is Bobby Orr's flying Stanley Cup goal. It was May 10, 1970, and Boston had waited nearly 30 years for their team to hoist the Stanley Cup. The crowd at Boston Garden was fortunate enough to witness history being made. Early in overtime, Bobby Orr raced towards the net, dished a give and go to Derek Sanderson, and fired it past the goalie, clinching the long-awaited cup for the Bruins. As the puck hit the twine, he was tripped, sending him soaring through the air, arms outstretched, like Superman on skates. That single photograph, Orr suspended mid-flight, became one of the most iconic images in all of sports. Even Orr later laughed, saying, "I didn't even know it went in." Boston fans saw their hero take flight and they went along for the ride with him. Next up is the Red Wings versus Avalanche. This was a night hockey turned into a war zone. The rivalry had been brewing for quite some time. It was March 26, 1997, and the Detroit Red Wings had been waiting nearly a year for revenge against the Colorado Avalanche. The previous season, Claude Lemieux had crushed Chris Draper into the boards, breaking his jaw and cheekbone. Lemieux did not apologize. Detroit did not forget. When these two teams met again, the gloves dropped and chaos ensued. Darren McCarty found Lemieux and unleashed his fury. Players paired off, fists flew, and even goalies went at it. Patrick Waugh skated down the ice to take on Mike Vernon. It was pure hockey bedlam. The Joe Louis Arena erupted as Detroit scored the overtime winner, completing their satisfying revenge in perfect cinematic fashion. 18 fighting majors later, the Red Wings had made their point. Mess with us and you'll pay the price. Now for Messier's guarantee and hat trick. Let's rewind to when New York refused to go down without a fight. The Rangers were down 3-2 in the series against the New Jersey Devils. The city was tense. The papers were brutal and without mercy towards the team. And then, with the cameras rolling, Captain Mark Messier made one of the most epic statements in sports history. "We're gonna win in Game 6. Everyone thought he'd just cursed his team. Instead, Messier went out and scored a hat trick, single-handedly carrying the Rangers on his back to victory.
Game 6, he has just picked up the hat trick.
2 nights later, they took Game 7 and went on to end a 54-year Stanley Cup drought. The newspapers exclaimed, "Captain Courageous!" Fans poured into the streets, and Messier cemented his place in hockey lore as one of the greatest leaders of all time. No empty promises here. He went out and made it happen. Let's switch gears to the miracle on Manchester. It was one of the wildest comebacks in NHL playoff history. The LA Kings were facing Wayne Gretzky's Edmonton Oilers, the most dangerous offense in hockey at the time. The Oilers went up to 5-0, and everyone thought the game was over. Fans were heading for the exits. But in the third period, something unbelievable happened. The Kings started scoring. An epic comeback was brewing under the surface. The fans who stayed witnessed history in the making. One goal, then another, and another. With just 5 seconds left, they tied the game. The energy in the arena was electric. It felt like a seismic event had just occurred, and the place was rocking. Finally, in overtime, Darryl Evans scored the winner. A comeback for the ages was complete. They called it the Miracle on Manchester. Edmonton and its fans were stunned. The entire hockey world was shook. Even Gretzky couldn't believe it. For the Kings, it wasn't just a win. It was proof that no lead was ever safe, and no script was ever final. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. Next up, Austin Matthews' epic 4-goal NHL debut. It was 2016, and Toronto hockey fans were desperate for something to celebrate. The center of the hockey universe had seen their team miss the playoffs 9 out of 10 seasons since 2006. The Leafs had recently won the draft lottery, selecting hockey's next big thing, first overall in the entry draft.
The first overall selection in the 2016 NHL draft belongs to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
In October, 19-year-old rookie Austin Matthews laced him up for his very first NHL game. The Leafs and their fans had been the punchline of hockey jokes for years.
Come on, man! After all that fight, after all that resilience, now we lose, come on!
Nothing promising was going down. No one was expecting anything big from the team with the longest championship drought in modern North American professional sports history. Austin opened the scoring less than halfway through the first period with his first career NHL goal. Matthews started the rush and executed a few cheeky moves against 3 Sens before putting home his second career goal from a tough angle. Then, Morgan Rielly carried the puck deep into the zone and made a nifty feed to Matthews. He buried his third. Matthews became only the 6th player in history to record a hat trick in their NHL debut, and the first since Derek Stepan accomplished the feat in 2010. The crowd went wild. His parents were in attendance and couldn't believe what they were witnessing. His mother was ecstatic. After a crisp give and go between Austin and William Nylander, he buried his 4th goal of the evening. History was made. The crowd and even the commentators were losing their minds. Pandemonium ensued. Toronto fans finally had a reason to believe again. Their star rookie had just done the unthinkable. From the beginning of a career, let's transition to an epic career finale. Ray Bourque finally lifting the Stanley Cup. After 2 decades of heartbreak, Ray Bourque finally had his moment. For 21 years, he had been the backbone of the Boston Bruins. A true legend, but one without a career-defining championship. In 2000, he was traded to the Colorado Avalanche for one final chance at glory. In 2001, the Avalanche won it all. Captain Joe Sakic took the Stanley Cup, turned, and handed it straight to Bourque. The arena erupted. His family joined him on the ice, tears streaming down his face. Even the fans back in Boston were cheering him on from their living rooms. That handoff became one of hockey's most iconic moments and touching gestures. Two legends, one cup. Decades of effort finally rewarded. It was more than just a win. It was a tip of the cap to a career defined by heart and loyalty. Finally, a taste of hockey's most sought-after prize. Moving on to Mario Lemieux's 5 goals in 5 different ways. This one feels like it came straight out of a movie. On December 31st, 1988, Mario Lemieux of the Pittsburgh Penguins scored 5 goals in one game, each in a completely different way. One at even strength, one shorthanded.
The angle off Lemieux and Broughton. Lemieux in. Score!
One on the power play. One on a penalty shot.
That's it!
And one into an empty net.
He shoots, he scores, and will count!
Fans were in awe by the end. The Devils' goalie looked broken. The announcers were out of adjectives. It was the real-life NHL equivalent of an insane EA Sports video game session. No one has ever repeated it. Lemieux didn't just dominate the game, he redefined what domination looked like. That night, he wasn't human. He was a magician on ice. Now, let's discuss Steve Yzerman's shot heard around the world. 1996, Game 7, double overtime. Detroit against St. Louis. The tension was so thick you could feel it through the screen. Yzerman picked up the puck near center ice, looked up, and fired a rocket of a clapper that beat the goalie clean. The building erupted, fans jumped, players screamed, and Yzerman threw his arms in the air. It was the roar that echoed across Detroit. That one shot became a symbol of persistence and leadership. Every kid dreamed of scoring a series-clinching goal in Game 7. That dream had become his reality.
Only the 11th time.
Next up is Pavel Bure's OT series winning goal versus Flames, 1994. This was the moment that made Vancouver erupt. Game 7, double overtime, 1994 playoffs. The Canucks and Flames were deadlocked, tension through the roof. Then Pavel Bure picked up the puck, blasted down the ice, faked out the goalie, and buried the winner. The crowd exploded. Players poured off the bench. It was redemption after years of frustration and endless heartbreak. For fans and players alike, it was more than just a goal. It was instant therapeutic relief. An epic moment forever ingrained in NHL lore. That single goal turned Bure into a hero. It wasn't just the fact that he scored, but how he made the impossible look so effortless. Our final epic moment is Alexander Ovechkin's infamous falling goal versus Phoenix. This was the goal that made people question physics and whether this guy was even human. Rookie forward Alex Ovechkin sped toward the Phoenix net, lost his balance, spun, and fell to the ice. When it looked like he was down and out, he somehow maintained control of the puck and scored while lying flat on his back. The crowd was in disbelief at the unbelievable epic moment they had just witnessed. Even Wayne Gretzky, who was coaching Phoenix that night, couldn't help but smile.
Number 32, even Wayne.
How fitting it was that the greatest player of all time was there to witness arguably the most insanely unlikely and talented goal of all time. Ovechkin later said he hadn't even seen the puck go in. It was chaotic, hilarious, and pure Ovi. Reckless brilliance that embodied what fans loved about him. That goal became a timeless personification of Ovechkin's career. Never-ending energy, impossible angles, and pure magic. In hockey, every goal has a heartbeat. Every fight has meaning. And every seemingly impossible moment proves that sometimes even the wildest dreams really can come true. So, which moment gave you the chills? Let us know down below in the comments. I always read them and would love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. See you in the next one, and thanks for watching Epic NHL Moments.